Welcome to the Public Speaking Experts Podcast with Elliot Kay and Jose Ucar. Every week we bring the tips, tools, and strategies for you to become a world-class public speaker. We bring you guests, experts, and authorities in the field of public speaking to enrich you and enhance your public speaking journey. Remember to subscribe, rate, and comment. And now, please welcome your hosts, Elliot and Jose.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, or night, depending when you're listening today. Like how inclusive I was there with my whole opening.
You missed good afternoon.
Do you know what I'm excited about today, Jose? Do you know why I'm excited?
No. Do I need to know what you're excited? You are usually excited, but are you more excited today? Because I guess you could be more excited, and I would be more excited as well if you were.
Why are you more excited?
Because I didn't get to hear you this morning at the Elliot and Jose show. I was doing something else. So I'm quite excited for seeing you. And I know we've got a special guest as well, but I don't know if we're going to be revealing that now or maybe half an hour and an hour's time, or we do it now.
I think right now Simon's kind of going, what have I let myself into? Like these guys were dancing when we started. He's a bit like lost. I felt like he's a bit of a lost soul there, like not sure what to do with himself as we're doing our normal intro dance. Yes,
he muted himself already. I think he's left the call. Is he still here?
He's still here.
I'm still here, Elliot and Jose.
There we are. The legendary Simon Ong is here.
And I tell you what, this is what I love about podcasts. You never know what you're getting yourself into, but also you're always open for a great time. So very much looking forward to joining you and your audience today.
We are so excited that you're here. We really are. So thank you, Simon, for joining us. We look forward to unpacking your journey to becoming a public speaking expert and, of course, sharing the wisdom that we've heard you share so many times on Clubhouse, here on our podcast as well. I was going to say that I was excited because I'm doing a podcast recording with my hat on for those who can't see, because you're listening to this on an unvisual platform. That's why I was excited. You know, I can't think the last time I wore a hat when I recorded something, and Jose, you kind of took that away from me. You took away my excitement. How do you feel about that?
I feel great because I'm not excited whatsoever about that. Yeah, people, if you could see, and if you're watching this on replay on YouTube or the video or on LinkedIn now,
LinkedIn
I mean,
live,
look at that hat. I mean, what would you say to that? That's disgusting. I mean, come on.
Hey, what is disgusting?
I got to say, guys, I love the hat purely because, Elliot, you're wearing one of my favorite brands.
Well, there you go. You see, Simon.
What is it? I cannot even see it. Simon is very polite and he's a great guy. I'm not going to be polite on my own podcast. I don't like it. That's it. Period. But I'm excited about the fact that you're excited.
It's your podcast, is it? It's your podcast.
Well, like our podcast, but I'm part of it, so I can say 50%. Well, 50% is mine. Oh, you know what? There you go. I've just given Elliot the arm. Okay, so let's not get serious. Well, the arm instead of the finger, so I gave you the whole arm.
Listen, whatever you get to on weekends, up to you. Right. Welcome to the Public Speaking Expert Podcast. It's another episode. Woo-hoo! So we release a new episode every single Saturday. So make sure you subscribe and you comment. And of course, if you comment and send us a picture, we will send you a copy of my book because we don't have one together, or Jose doesn't have one to offer yet, but Simon does. And we're going to hear all about that shortly. We all get a copy of a book as a gift to say thank you, as long as it's a nice comment. So make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Of course, if you want to reach out to myself or Jose to find out more about working together, do so. You can book us, you can book one of us, or you can book none of us. Whatever you would like to do, DM us and just let us know how you're going on. We'd love to know what actions you've taken since listening to the podcast, because you have been reaching out and you have been telling us that you're listening and you love it and you love the vibe. What actions have you taken? We'd love to hear. So send us a message. Follow the Elliot and Jose Show on Instagram. And of course, if you want to join us live at any point, we are on Clubhouse every single day, Monday to Friday, 12 o'clock UK time. So do that. But today we have an incredible guest, a guy whose journey has been a formidable one. He's a man full of wisdom. His ability to express himself is world class. I'm super excited to welcome myself. I'm joking. I'm super excited to welcome Simon Alexander Ong to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a big round of applause. I don't feel the sound effect does it justice. I don't think it does you justice, Simon. First of all, welcome to Public Speaking Expert Podcast. How are you doing on this crazy cold day in London, UK, or wherever you are?
I'm doing fantastic, Elliot, Jose. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on your show. The work that you both do to equip people with the skills to become better public speakers is incredible. And I think anybody who's not listening to this should be listening to it. And the reason that I'm also feeling great is that it is a Monday that we are hosting this episode. And I love Mondays. I love Mondays. It's the beginning of a new week of possibilities. And that's what gets me excited at the beginning of every week.
I love it. Isn't there a song called I Love Mondays?
Well,
I mean, there's the Cure song that goes, "It's Friday, I'm in love with." There's Jess Glynn has a song that she doesn't like Thursdays. I'm pretty sure there's a song about loving Mondays. Or am I just imagining that?
Well, I don't know. How about that Monday, so good to me? It can be.
There you
There's
go.
an angle to
There you
it.
go. There you go.
There
I
we
like
go.
it. I like
There
what
we
you
go.
did there. We always end up
Fantastic.
singing somehow on this podcast, Simon. Do you want to tell our listeners and our viewers a little bit about yourself? Because we'd love to. We know you, but tell us the juicy stuff. Tell us the good stuff.
Sure. Well, I mean, when I was young, first of all, I grew up here in London, United Kingdom. When I was young, I grew up in a very traditional Chinese family, which meant that I believed the definition of success was down to my job title: be a banker, be a doctor, be a lawyer, be an accountant. Those were the areas that I felt that if I pursued, I would be seen as a success by not just my peer group, but by my family. And so I pursued the banking route. Unfortunately, my timing was a little off because I joined the industry a year before the global financial crisis and at a company called Lehman Brothers, which collapsed into administration.
In fact, they started the whole collapse. Well, it was all going, but they kind of like officially started the collapse of the.
Totally. I mean, the event just accelerated the sort of financial crisis because you had the knock-on effect on the markets, on companies across the planet. And while it was not an easy time, I'm not going to lie, it was challenging, especially when you've got all these hopes and dreams of where you want to take your career to. And within an instant, it is swept away from under your feet. But looking back in hindsight, it was an absolute blessing in disguise because it led me to what I now get to do today. It led me, if you will, on the longest journey that we humans make, the inches from our heads to our hearts. It is never an easy one, but it is the most fulfilling and exciting that we will ever embark on. And it made me question, what did success mean to me? Because I had previously lived by definition set by others. And so it was a rare opportunity for me to reflect on what did it mean to me, and then to build my life around those answers. So that led me to what I have the privilege to do today, which is to energize people to see their world differently and to awaken their imagination of what is truly possible so they can live a better story. And I do this through my work as a coach, a keynote speaker, and more recently, a published author or soon to be published author with my debut book, Energize.
Do you have a date for it yet when it's coming out?
Yes, so it's scheduled to be released 21st of April, 2022, and is now available for pre-order.
There you go. Perfect. So do make sure that you let us know how to pre-order it. Jose, I can see you're doing your little question dance. When he has a question, he kind of does this little bop where he's waiting for that moment. That
I get bouncy. Yeah, exactly. Simon, what you told us is amazing, and well, great guy, great speaker, and the time we met on Clubhouse and then we met in person is fantastic. It's fantastic getting to know you, seeing your journey. And there is a bot coming up. What we see at the moment is your success. What we see at the moment is your book, is the great things you're doing, and all of that is beautiful and well done for that. Plus what's going to come next, because I'm sure a person like you is only going to evolve and improve and inspire more and more people. But tell us about the difficult days. Tell us about those days when you woke up and you didn't think you were going to make it. Tell us about, the sweat and tears in the process of becoming the person you are today, brother, because I think that's really where the inspiration and the juicy stuff is going to be for ourselves and for the audience as well. Over to you.
Fantastic question, first of all, Jose, because as you say, so many of us only see the successes. What we share on social media, what people see on the outside is the successes often after years of hard work. And it's that hard work and the challenges, both mental and physical, that goes on behind the scenes that most are blind to. So I think the first big difficulty I encountered was that transition from being an employee to being an entrepreneur. And the reason I share that as my first big challenge is because it required a substantial mindset shift. Namely because no one in my family, my direct family, had ever started a business. And so when you've come from the corporate world, you don't have to worry when the next paycheck is coming, because at the end of the month, you're going to get your salary come in, you've got your pension, you've got your perks, you've got your rewards and so on, everything that comes with working a full-time job. When you transition to being an entrepreneur, all of that is taken away. You have no idea when your next paycheck is coming in, how you're going to get your next client, and you're learning every single day. When we think about an employee, it's not often that you're challenged to go out of your comfort zone. However, when you are an entrepreneur, every single day, you are challenged to walk out of your comfort zone. And that was one of the greatest difficulties for me. I had never been to business school, and so I had no idea how to go about starting a business. And all of these lessons I learned since embarking on this journey have been learned by getting things wrong, by failing, by losing a lot of money. And I think there's wisdom in failure. Before I started the journey, I thought success and failure is opposites. I don't want to fail. I want to build something successful. But I realized over time that being comfortable with failure is a skill we have to get comfortable with. So that was my first big challenge. The second that comes to my mind is actually getting comfortable with the business development side. I think too often when people become entrepreneurs, they start a business and they go, I'm really passionate about this product or service. I'm going to do well because I love it. But people don't care. People don't care if you've got the best product or service.
What? Are you crazy?
People don't care. They want to know if you can help them. They want to know if you can help them and how you can help them. And so I realized it didn't matter how passionate I was about what I did, unless I also loved the business development side as well. And I think I had to really learn. I had to enjoy the sales, the business development, the marketing, getting myself out there. And when I started to really enjoy that, everything followed from there. Everything followed from that point. And the third challenge I want to share when I look back at my journey is constantly beginning again and again and again. Not afraid of looking like a beginner, because every year things are going to change. A new social media platform, a new way of doing business, some new skill you have to learn. But if you're okay at starting from zero again and again and again, you will have what it takes to adapt in a world that is constantly changing.
It's interesting, as you were saying, I'm reminding of a saying I used to share, but I'm pretty sure someone used to say that as well, which is, the more you grow, the less you know. And as you were saying, I was like, yeah, because you kind of, at the beginning of this journey, I used to like get to this certain level and I'd walk into this seminar and go, yeah, I know this stuff. And by the time I left us. I'm like, I don't know this stuff. I don't know this stuff. Well, either they were really good at completely deframing and deconstructing any perception I had of reality, or I generally didn't know the stuff. And I'd like to think it's generally I didn't know the stuff, right? So I think that was a big part of it. What I'd love to, if I have permission to, is unpick that journey of Lehman Brothers is shutting down and you're building the business. How much of, you mentioned this, that you grew up in a traditional Chinese family. How much did that kind of, oh my gosh, I'm going against the grain, what will people say, kind of kick in? Like, we don't do this stuff. No one in my family's done this. Did that come into play? I don't think it's any different from anyone, by the way, that decides to, I think in my family, that's not true. My mom's an entrepreneur and she's built her own businesses. Damn it, that takes that out of the equation. Anyway, that you went against it. I mean, how much culturally did you have to battle and shift mindset? How much were you married at the time, or did that come later? Did you have to fight? Well, I have to provide. So I'm just interested in that transition as well.
Definitely. I mean, I had to balance transitioning from employee to entrepreneur with the fact that I knew I had family that would kind of look down on that transition. I had in my mind this scene that would play out again and again of my family saying to me, Simon, why are you giving up such a good salary job in a great industry that many would want to break into for something that is completely uncertain and not guaranteed that you're going to be successful in it? And so, of course, I would have that playing in my mind again and again and again. But what I did is I did something that I think a lot of people don't appreciate when they look at these success stories of entrepreneurs, because we tend to glamorize this transition as someone has burnt all their boats and they've gone straight in cold into starting a business. Now, the reason I say that's glamorized is because in many stories, what actually happens is a gradual transition.
Right.
And that is what happened to me. I knew it was going to be too risky for me one day and go straight into coaching and speaking when nothing was guaranteed. So what I did is I continued to be in the financial industry. I was moving from job to job to find something in which I could do well at the job, but also have time to build this side hustle, if you will. And it was when I got to landing my fourth client, that situation forced me to evaluate my current position. Because if I was to get a fifth client, I was not sure I could continue to deliver the same quality of coaching and show up for my full-time work.
It's like
in the
someone was
same way.
knocking on your head, right? It's like someone was knocking away there.
Definitely. It was sort of awakening me to the fact that, Simon, you have now arrived at this point in which you've got a choice to make. Either you continue with this full-time job and have this as a side hustle, or you quit your full-time job and you put your energy into making this your full-time hustle. And that was a very tough moment, because I was sort of planning to get married at the time. And so there were, of course, commitments. But I spoke about this with my now wife, and she totally supported me. She said, if you go for this, I want to be supportive of you, and we're going to make it work. And I believe we underestimate the importance of having a supportive spouse, especially in these big life moments. And I think she gave me that courage to take that leap of faith, began the journey, the path to where I am today.
That's amazing.
Wow.
It's amazing. I'm sure I can see he does this little bop. Can you see that? Can you see it? He's got a question, right? Hold that question.
I also wanted to say that, thanks to our wives as well, definitely Emily and Anna, for the great support, because definitely, as I said last time, I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for her. And I'm sure, Elliot, you've got something to say on that note. So
no, I agree.
carry on.
I agree. I think, marriages are definitely an evolving, what's the word I'm looking for? It's an evolution when you're married. And I think you go through phases, and it's very interesting because Emily and I have gone through an interesting phase right now, because she's incredible. She has no website. She has no LinkedIn presence, right? Nothing. Yet she jumps from job to job to job. I mean, she's the freelancer in market research, and all these people contact her. And then there's myself, spending thousands on marketing and this, and so we have very different approaches. But yeah, she's definitely got my back and she's behind me. But sometimes it's like, are you sure that's the right choice, Elliot? And of course, the other thing is I'm opportunist. I'm going, oh, we could build this, or we could get this business, we could buy this business, and she's a bit like the opposite. She's like, no, can't we just buy a house and be like this? So Emily and I complement each other, and at times we're like, I just want to be this crazy entrepreneur that Simon's talking about that's doing all these things. And she's like, no, but what about this? You're like, boo. No, I'm joking. Of course not. She's amazing. She's incredible. So absolutely on that one. Hold that question, Jose, because I know you have one till we do this. A little break, an interlude. Jose loves this piece of music, Simon. So just remember, you are listening to the Public Speaking Expert podcast, and if there's any way we can support you on your journey to becoming an expert in public speaking, or to start your public speaking journey, reach out to myself and Jose and see how we can support you, not only to be a great speaker, but to
speak your greatness.
Exactly. Just remember, you can book us or us individually for speaking arrangements across the world, because we would love to support you and help you. So, Jose.
And just imagine, people, if you get Elliot and myself on stage. And even now, since Simon is here with us, imagine the three of us. I mean, Venezuela, UK, Argentina, China, all those cultures, cross-pollinating on stage.
Electrifying.
Oh,
well, I don't have an electrifying soundtrack. That's a shame.
It would sound like this.
Oh, wait, we can do this. There we go. That's the closest we get. Oh, it even happened twice there.
Twice, boom.
That's how strong it is. So, Jose, what's your question? I know you've got one. I can see you're doing your question, Bob.
Yeah, definitely, Simon. Thank you so much for sharing what that part of your journey has been, and what you've been up to, and who supported you on the transition. And now I would love you to share the strategy in terms of becoming the great speaker you are today. If you were going to share some steps for people to follow, or things to do, tips, however you want to call them, what would they be to position themselves, and not just to position themselves, to actually do what you're doing at the moment, which is getting paid to speak and delivering great sessions, having a book, and all of this?
Sure, Is it? Well, I think 3 strategies come to my mind. And while some of these were used earlier on, I think they can be applied at any stage of your speaking journey. And the first is, like with anything in life, if you want to be a great coach, you have to coach. If you want to be a great writer, you have to write. And if you want to be a great speaker, you have to speak. And so my journey into speaking was not very traditional. Now, what I mean by that is, I know a lot of colleagues in the industry would have gone to, say, Toastmasters or a speaking training company to sort of develop that skill and then go out to the public. For me, sometimes I like to jump into the pool at the deep end. Now, what I mean by this is, when I started speaking, I would reach out to friends and communities that were running networking groups, that were running sort of small events in London. And I would say, you run regular events. I'm looking to speak more. So how about I speak to your audience for free? In exchange, I get to share what I do. I get a testimonial from you. And if I'm not great, you don't lose anything because you haven't paid me. If I'm good, people are going to love the fact that they attended your event. And so that's what I started doing early on, is I just looked and looked and looked for any opportunities I could get just to speak. Because for me, that is what helped me to develop my ability to speak and be confident on stage, no matter the audience. And I think as much preparation that we can do, whether that is at an organization like Toastmasters or in front of the mirror in your bedroom or bathroom, nothing can replace the experience of speaking live in a room of strangers. And so putting yourself as early as you can will help you become a better speaker. So that's what I started doing early on. The second is a strategy I use for my business, but I think it also helps in developing opportunities to speak, is every week, make sure that you are connecting with new people. Every week, make sure you're connecting with new people. That can be online, offline, through groups you're a part of, through communities that you're a member of. But you want to be connecting with new people every week. Otherwise, where are the opportunities going to come from? They're not going to land on your lap.
That's
just
not
because
true,
you're
Simon.
wishing.
Surely all I need to do is tell people I'm a speaker and everyone will queue up to book me, no?
Definitely. That's what we tend to think. That's what we would like to think. But unfortunately, it doesn't happen that way. And so the more you get to meet people, the more they know about what you do, which leads me to my third strategy: content, content, content. Because content is like the window of a department store. It gives people an insight and a flavor of what to expect when they open the doors to enter your shop. And content is that shop window for your business. So what I started doing early in my journey, and I recommend if you're looking to build a profitable speaking business, is to focus on this as well. Whether it's images, video, audio, testimonials, reviews, stories on your social media, make sure you are constantly collecting content. Because when people see that content, their subconscious will register and say, this is a speaker. This is someone we've got to talk to bring in for our next event. So those will be my 3 tips.
Love it. Jose, have you noticed the last bit? Because maybe that's where you're going wrong with the content piece. You know, that people think you're a speaker. You got to stop posting pictures of flowers. People don't think
So
you're a
that
speaker.
hasn't got anything to do with me being a speaker. The flowers and pictures of you. That's my main
Me
problem.
half naked these days. That's the way forward.
That's what I get on WhatsApp. Simon, thank you so much for that. I couldn't agree more. I mean, content,
Yes,
and we love to speak about
100%.
this. Connecting with people, absolutely, and putting yourself out there more often. Speak, and speak. Even if you wear a funny hat,
Hey,
speak.
hey, I used to be the coach with a hat, you know. That used to be my brand.
Well,
And
I
used to
wasn't
wear
born.
really cool
Born
hats.
back then. So Simon and I were young. So
You were young, it's true, but now, Jose. By the way, I bet you got more grey hairs than me, mister. And I'm young and I'm older than you.
buddy, check me out. I don't know. Do you see any gray hair?
All over your beard.
Oh, the beard. That's one thing. That's different. I'm speaking about the hair.
Oh, right. It's the ones that fallen from your head downwards.
It's just coming down here.
So let's ask the £1 million question then, Simon, because I know a lot of people will be thinking this. Now, you do a lot of corporate speaking. How did you get into corporates? Because I must be, if I could put £1 every time someone asked me that, I would be a multimillionaire. So what would you say, adding on top of tips, how did you land your corporate stuff? Because now you pretty much do a lot of corporate things. What was your kind of, if you're happy to share, your tip or your methodology for that?
Definitely. Well, first of all, I want to share that there's never just one route to get to where you want to be and what you want to do. And when I look back, I think there was also an element of luck. And the reason I say that is because I did the coaching first and the speaking sort of followed from there. And I was fortunate that one of my coaching clients was in a sort of good position within a corporate company at Canary Wharf. And she said to me, Simon, I really enjoy our coaching sessions. And I know the leadership team are putting together a series of events in the new year. And I'd love to recommend you to be considered as one of the speakers. And that was my first kind of was through a coaching client. So it wasn't planned in any way that I knew the person and I was going to show up and sort of pitch myself. It was through a warm introduction. But even though there was an element of luck, I think there is a lesson there in that within our own network, I have no doubt that we have connections to people in corporate. And it's about how we can use the warm introductions in order to get in front of the people that bring in external speakers. Now, once I got that first event, what I did is I was then able to use that testimonial to go to the next corporate to discuss speaking for them. Because I think once you've done one or two and you've got them under your belt, you've got a testimonial, it then communicates to the next client that you've done this. This is what you do. You've done this already for this client, that client. And so there must be a reason they got you in. So that was my in. But how I grew that to work with more corporates over the years is I then made greater use of LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
And this just touches on the fact is that you've got to understand where your audience lives. If you are looking to speak to a corporate market, then guess what? LinkedIn is a platform where corporate professionals hang out. And so that helps you to get in front of more people. Next, it's also connecting with fellow speakers in the industry who have spoken at corporates. You know, I got the opportunity to speak at Salesforce because I had an entrepreneur friend who was invited to be interviewed at a Salesforce lunch and learn. And because I knew him very well, I said, would you be open to introducing me to the person that holds these lunch and learns? And he said to me, Simon, I've seen you speak. I have no doubt you're going to blow them away. So happy to make the introduction if you can do ABC. So I sent him the items he wanted over. He made the introduction. And within a few months, I was speaking at Salesforce. And so I think there's a few lessons that are coming out from what I'm sharing. The first is look at your existing network. See who can introduce you, who already knows people within the corporate world who are looking for speakers, who are managing the events and conferences. Second is speak to people you know very well, who have spoken at the companies you would like to speak to. See how they got that. Can they introduce you? If not, how did they manage to get that connection? And then third is be where your audience are. Use platforms like LinkedIn to get in front of your ideal audience. And that's where you should share your content. That's where you should start build relationships, because the more people you connect to on LinkedIn that are in corporate companies, the more people that will know about you.
Perfect. Wow, time's flying by today. And that's probably because you're speaking, Simon, not Jose. That's what I'm going to say. Jose, you got one last question before we start wrapping up?
Well, at this point, a remark, and it's interesting, Simon, how everything you've shared today, you've been sharing in threes. So
I was thinking about that, but do you know what? My mind went in a different direction though when I thought about the threes. I was like, I don't know if I should share where my mind went, but anyway.
I don't know. Well, thinking about when this is being broadcasted now, it's actually live on LinkedIn. So it depends on what you want to share. Is it going to add value to your connections on LinkedIn?
I'll just leave it there. It went somewhere interesting, you know. But I just wonder if Simon does everything in threes. Is where kind of my mind went because he always sometimes, because you know, you always sum things up in three. I was like, I wonder if when he's his wife, he's like, we should have 3 meals. You know, 3 desserts. You know, we should do things in threes. Anyway, 3 children on the way, Simon. You know, I don't know.
Who knows? It could be on the cards. But hey, you know, I think there's a lot of truth to the threes.
Absolutely.
I'm often asked by by people, how do you remember things so well? And I think when we are delivering a speech, I think having 3 central themes or stories can be so powerful in speaking to an audience, because the audience gets bombarded by so much information. And if you can distill it down to 3 key messages, there's a higher probability that they will remember those 3 messages. And if you came out with 7 or 5 or 6, 3 tends to be the magic number. And that's why I tend to build a lot of my talks and presentations and responses around 3 things, because then it's easier for people to take them away.
Brilliant.
Absolutely. Love it. And Simon, well, you may decide to answer this in 3 or 2 or 1. So I'm going to go for 3. I was going to ask you, where do you see Simon Ong in, I was going to say 5 years time or in 1 year, but I'm going to say in 3 years time. Where are you, Simon?
Sure. Well, it's interesting because I get asked that a lot, and I think my answer has changed over the years. So if you ask me 5-6 years ago, Simon, where do you see yourself in the future? I would have said something that many entrepreneurs in my field would say. You know, on bigger stages, best-selling author, and all of those things that we would like to accomplish in this entrepreneurial journey. But my answer has changed, and it's changed to this. I'm no longer attached to where I'm going to be in the future. My focus now is simply to be better than who I was yesterday, to give my best today, because I think as long as I can look at myself in the mirror at the end of each day and say, today I gave it my best. And do keep this in mind, giving your best on the day when your energy is low, giving your best when you have 2 or 3 children, giving your best when you're going through a personal tragedy will be different for all of us. But as long as we can say we've given our best, in time, we will be proud of where we will be. So for me today, it is simply focusing on being better than who I was yesterday, and at the same time, being open to what the future holds. And there's a reason I share this. It's because I didn't plan to be an author. You know, it wasn't in my top 3 tasks to write a book. But then things happen. You know, I got a reach out from a boutique publisher that said, Simon, would love to explore writing a book with you. That led me to thinking, well, if I'm going to write a book, why not think bolder? And so I challenged myself to reach out to the biggest publishers on the planet. And then they replied. And that's what led to a book deal. But again, it wasn't in my plan. And it's something that it just came up in my life. And I went with the flow. And I was open to where it would take me. And I'm finding that this process is infinitely more magical when we focus our energy on that than a rigid outcome that may or may not happen. So that's how my answer has evolved to where it is today.
What a beautiful answer.
I love it. I love it. I mean, you are so inspirational, Simon. And well, we are delighted to have you here and to hear you.
You can't be the
sharing
third
this.
one in their relationship, Jose. Stop it.
No, not in that relationship, but we are 3. We are 3 here today. Well, Regina, 4. Sorry, Regina, we're 4 today.
Regina's the producer for people that doesn't know.
Well, exactly. Regina is helping us in the background. Great team member. Simon, I love it. And I think it's a great message about giving it our best, because we have days in, personally, when I'm feeling like, I mean, I couldn't be feeling any better. And then I give it what I believe is my best. But then sometimes, I'm tired. I maybe, sick, catch a cold, long weekend, whatever that might be, long week. And yet the fact that I'm giving it my best within those resources available at that time, I mean, that's where growth takes place. So very inspirational. You got me thinking, and I really like that, to be in the flow as well. So amazing stuff.
Amazing.
Yeah, Elliot.
Thank you so much.
Simon, my man, how do people reach out? How do they find out? How do they pre-order your book? Plug away. Let's shine the light on the man himself.
Well, thank you so much, first of all, Elliot and Jose, for having me on your show and allowing me the opportunity to share how your audience can reach out to me. So you can find me on all the main social media platforms. I'm on YouTube, on Twitter, the handle is at Simon Alexander O. Instagram, the same handle at Simon Alexander O. Facebook, LinkedIn, and my website, which is simonalexanderong.com. When you visit the website, you will find a link in which you can pre-order the book and also a form if you want to join my newsletter to learn more about the work I do and to get wisdom in your inbox every week.
Wow, wisdom in your inbox. That in itself must be worthwhile.
Take action right now. So don't give us any, I listen to the podcast from Simon, fantastic, and you don't do anything with it, because next week we're going to be chasing you. What have you done? Have you signed up yet? Have you bought the book?
Yes.
Have you ordered it up front?
Yes.
Of course, it's not ready yet. So Elliot, are you saying yes, you've done it? Yeah, you're doing it as we speak.
No, I'm just saying, agreeing with you.
Yeah, come on, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Brilliant, Simon. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom. So before we wrap up, Jose, any final words of wisdom coming from you?
Wow, that is a lot to ask.
I know.
I just want to say thank you very much, Simon. People listening to this podcast on a replay, live now on LinkedIn, share it.
On YouTube.
On YouTube as well. Share it. Take action. Benefit from the incredible gems that Simon has shared here today. And you know what? Give it your best. Because, within that best, you're going to be growing every day and you will achieve whatever it is that you want. And as Simon said, that will change. And that's okay. Thank you very much, everybody.
Definitely. And keep this in mind about action. The action you take today will determine where you will be tomorrow.